You are your habits. All of your habits together produce the results that you get in your life. So whatever results you are getting every day, every week, every month, it is due to your habits. Now you get habits of thinking, habits of feeling, and habits of doing. In other words, you think in a certain way habitually all the time in a certain way. In other words, when something happens, you think in a certain way. And then you feel a certain way, and then you act or behave in a certain way. And if you add it all up, eventually you will get a certain result. Now, sometimes you may set a goal for yourself that you want to achieve, whether it is something that you want to achieve in a week or in 2 weeks or maybe 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 years. The question is, what are the habits that you are practicing on a daily, weekly, monthly, yearly basis that eventually results in what it is that you achieve? Sometimes we don't think about our habits that much. We basically go through our life, through our day, and we do certain things. And without realizing it, we basically go and act out over and over and over the same kind of habits. Now the question is, are the habits helping you or are they hindering you? So all of the habits that you have, it's either going to give you the result that you want, and if that is so, then generally, depending on what area you are focusing on now, you will succeed. So if your goal is perhaps in the sports field and it's maybe to do with what you want to do, soccer, rugby, basketball, baseball, then in that area of your life, you will have certain habits which you are acting out, practicing, thinking in a certain way, and eventually then produce you the results that you finally get, which is either going to be successful or unsuccessful. Or it can be in business, or it can be in university when you're learning, could be in school. It does not matter where it is, doesn't matter in which area of your life it is. But if you are going to always act on the behaviors and you are not upgrading and improving your behaviors by learning new skills, learning new information, and thereby starting new habits. If you are not changing your habits, then the results you get will always remain the same. So the question is, are you happy with the results that you are getting? And are you happy with the results that you have gotten so far? So for example, if we look back over, let's say, a period of 10 years time. So 10 years ago, you maybe had an idea of where you would like to be in the next 10 years. And now it is 2025. So that would have been in 2015. So somewhere in 2015, you had an idea of what it is maybe you want to do in whatever area of your life, maybe in terms of your health, wanting to be a healthy person. So maybe you thought about some exercises you would like to do. Maybe you want to become a cyclist or be a better cyclist or a hiker. But you had an idea that you wanted to improve your life in some area. Now today, 10 years later in 2025, the question is, did you arrive at the future that you wanted? Did you achieve the future that you wanted? Yes or no? If the answer is yes, then it means you have habits that have helped you to get here. And those are good habits, and those are the kind of habits that you want to keep. However, if you did not achieve the goals that you set out, or at least thought about, so even if you didn't formally say to yourself, okay, today I'm setting this goal. So even if you didn't say to yourself that this is a goal I'm going for, or even if you did say to yourself, this is a goal I'm going for, the point is, if you had an idea or a feeling of something Let's say the dream of running in the Two Oceans Marathon and that you want to maybe end up in the top 100 spots. So that was 10 years ago. So the question is 10 years a long enough time for you to have decided what it is you will do over a period of 10 years until eventually you get and you hit the mark that you set for yourself? You didn't say number 1 or number 2 or number 3, but you wanted to be at least in the top 100. Okay? So is that a doable goal? The answer is yes, it is a doable goal. 10 years is a long time. And in 10 years, if you make use of the correct habits and knowledge and skills, then you should be able to get to the goal of being in the top 100 of the marathon 10 years later, a decade later. If for any reason you didn't achieve it, then the question is, which of your habits didn't allow you to get there? Was it number 1, you didn't even make a decision? You never really sat down with yourself and said, habit number 1, sit down, ask myself, what do I really want to achieve? Write it down on a piece of paper, write it somewhere, and make sure that, okay, this is or it is not a goal. So in other words, did you make a decision? Did you actually make a decision? So that means making a habit of deciding. Then did you commit to it? So first you see, what is it I want to do? What would be a nice thing for me to have one day, 10 years from now? So after you set the goal and the intention, the question is, are you going to commit? Are you going to commit? So if you decide you are going to commit, great. Now, next question. Do you know how you are going to do it? So, the habit of planning, right? The habit of planning. Then, did you have the habit of when you came to times when you were doing it, but now maybe you faced some difficulties? Maybe you had to get up in the morning earlier. Maybe you had to make sure you're eating the right food. Maybe you had to buy some new resources, maybe whatever it is that you're going to need to make sure that you're going to get through this 10 years in the best possible way, so that you will be the person who's capable of achieving the goal that you've set for yourself. So these are just examples of habits, right? So the question is, did you or did you not have the habits that allowed you to get to the goal which you set for yourself? And it doesn't have to be that goal, it can be any other goal. So if somebody, here's a nice question for you to think about. Here's a very good question for you to think about. Just as you are there deciding on that goal of, I want to be in the top 100 of the race, and I want to be in the top 100 10 years from today. Are there other people in the world, other people in the country, other people in the city that could be also making certain goals, setting certain goals for themselves, saying maybe even just like you, I want to be in 10 years time in the top 100 people who finish the race, right? So now the question is, if they make that kind of a decision and set that goal and then they commit to it, and in 10 years go by, do you think that they could achieve their goal? Do you think some of them could achieve their goal? Now, if you think that some of them could achieve the goal, then the question is, why can't you achieve the goal? Because what those people are going to have to do, you can also do. And all they have to do is they have to be committed to it. If they have to find out any information, if they have to maybe ride a certain route every time, if they have to put a plan together, if they have to go to somebody who has done it maybe, if you find out how those people did it and you then truly commit to it, then you should be able to do it. Why? Because you already said other people can do it. What's the difference between other people and you. What's the difference? What is the difference? They are people, you also a person. If they can do it, you can do it. If you think so highly of other people, why don't you think so highly of yourself? Or maybe you do think so highly of yourself, right? So if you think so highly of yourself, then it means you have a good habit. What habit is that? That is the habit of confidence. So you are thinking in a habit of being a confident thinker, right? Question is, can a person develop the habits? Can you cultivate the habits? Can you learn, practice, master until eventually these habits are very, very normal for you? It's just what you do, it's just who you are. So if you can do that, if you can learn all of those habits, then eventually you will succeed. And that is what it's all about. It's about achieving the goals that you set for yourself. Now, think about that. How many goals do you want to set for yourself in different areas of your life? How big are the goals that you want to achieve? Now, if you become very, very clear and you really make a decision on the goals that you really want to achieve, the truth is nothing should be able to stop you. Nothing. Because you made a committed decision and you have relentless solution focus, as Jason Salk says. And Bob Proctor says, make a committed decision and you're focusing on one thing. You're focusing on one thing. Just focus on one thing. If you focus on one thing, your mind can't be thinking about another. So if you are thinking about success, then you can't be thinking of failure. If you're thinking about success and what you want to achieve, and you get excited about that, then you cannot get depressed about something else. So you either think of one thing or you are thinking of another. So whichever thing you are going to be thinking of, that is going to give you the belief and the feeling and the energy so that you can now behave in the way that's going to get you the results that you want to get. If you are at any time doing anything that you feel, but I don't want to be doing this now, I actually want to be working on that goal or this goal, but for some reason, maybe a day or two goes by and you realize I'm not busy with my plan, I'm not following my plan here. Then you need to find a way to get back to the habit of doing what you're supposed to do. Now you can always go and improve your habits. You can always go and learn about more habits. Think about it in this way. In your day-to-day life, in your daily life, think about the fact that maybe, let's say for example, every single day, just as an example, let's say every single day you are going to be going through about 20 habits. In one day, you're going to go through 20 habits. Now, either you are going to use 20 habits today that's going to be highly effective habits, very, very good habits to practice, which going to enable you to achieve your goal. It's going to take you to your goal in the most effective way, in the most cost-effective way, in the most efficient way, in the fastest way, in the most relaxed way, or whatever it is, but in the best way. Or you could be practicing maybe a set of other habits which is gonna maybe give you're not sure, am I gonna make it, am I not gonna make it, so you're not sure. Or you could be practicing even a set of habits which is gonna actually just make sure you're never going to achieve the goal that you set out. Now, if there's only 20 habits a person, for example, might be practicing in one day, the question you must ask yourself is, am I in the habit of consistently making use of the best habits that will get me the results? So if you ask that question, then you must also be able to answer it with knowing what are the best habits that will get you to be able to achieve the goals that you set for yourself. So do you know what are the best habits? In other words, the best habits. And then we can also call it strategies, okay? Either you are thinking a certain way and feeling a certain way, or doing certain things, or showing up in a certain way. But it is something you are now doing, and it's a way that you are thinking, and it is what you are believing, right? So beliefs can also be habits. Beliefs can also be habits. For example, if you have the belief that I don't think I can do it, I don't think that I have the energy to do it, I don't think this, I don't think, if you think like that, it's a habit. Can you change it? Yes, you can change it. Remember, I mentioned earlier something called relentless solution focus. What does that mean? It means that you are always thinking about how you can. Remember, I also said you focus on one thing. Because if you are focusing on one thing, you can't be thinking of something else. So if you are focusing on, right, these are the things I must do, it will take me to the result I want, then you are going to be able to have positive feelings and you are going to be able to do what you must do. If however you are busy thinking about all the reasons why you can't make it, then you are going to if however you are thinking about all the reasons why you're not going to make it and why it's going to fail, then what's going to happen? You're going to start having low energy, you're going to feel let down, you're not going to take the actions because you're already saying, oh, I don't think it's going to work. So when you are thinking like that, you are just not going to do what you must do. So it's up to you what you decide to think. Whatever you say to yourself, that's what you are going to do. So you are then going to do the actions that are related to what you are saying. Another thing is you can either be thinking about your past mistakes and everything that went wrong, or you can be thinking about your past and choose and select all the things you can be proud of that you've done that has got you where you wanted to be and so on. And then you can learn from anything that didn't go right. So that is your past. Take the best lessons that you can learn from the past, but then tell yourself that I'm going to use my past memories, ideas, experiences, whatever, achievements, failures, whatever, and I'm going to use it now to be a better person from today onwards and to be a more effective, efficient person, a person who gets the things done which I decide to get done.